Hi, this is John Huddleston with Precision Tree Experts. Today we're going to talk a little bit about red turpentine beetle. So red turpentine beetle is one of the more common pine bark beetles that we have in Southern California. They hit the very base of the tree. You very rarely see any hits above 5 feet. They're these large clumps, and what it's called is frass at the bottom of the tree. And frass is a mixture of half-digested bark. You can see a real rich red color in there. Almost purple, but frass is half-digested bark mixed with tree resin, so mixed with pine sap. And sometimes you'll actually even find the beetles in here. The beetles are red. They're about the size of a Tic Tac, and it's like a brickish red. Anyway, but you see all these hits around the very base. They really like the bottom of the tree. They'll start creeping up a little bit as the infestation gets worse. And Wendy, if you come around over here, you'll see they're starting to move up a little bit. So this is 6 inches up from the bottom. This tree is already mostly dead. But varying degrees of freshness of hits. Some of these, like this here, this is real dry. So this was when the beetles tried to get in when the tree wasn't moving any water. So it couldn't respond by pushing resin in with the half-digested bark. So that's all we have here. But all the other hits on here, or many of the other hits on here, I should say, they happen when the tree was actively pushing water. So that we have this nice sort of sticky resin that's around the bottom. And that's your sign for the red turpentine beetle. There is some forestry literature that'll tell you that if there's the same amount or greater number of hits around the base, number of different pockets of frass around the base, then the tree is wide in inches at about this height here, that your tree's probably going to die. So let's say this is about a 30 inch wide tree. So if there were more than 30 hits around the base, which I'm sure there are, you would tend to condemn this tree. Now there's a lot of variability though when it comes to this insect. One female beetle can get inside and she can lay 1 egg, or one female beetle can get inside and she can lay up to 100 eggs. So just seeing a couple of hits around the base isn't really enough to tell you whether or not your tree is going to survive or not. Once they start really getting up past the 1 foot mark and up into the 2, 3, 4, and then above that, which is going to be a different species of beetle. But once you start seeing them up here, generally the tree's done. Even if it's still green, generally that tree's going to die pretty quickly. Now we'll take a step back here and we'll take a look at the tree from the distance. And you can see the whole top half of the tree died relatively at the same time. The needles are pretty much all the same color. So that, to me, when I see that from a distance, I assume that that's going to be turpentine beetle that's causing that damage. Now let's take a walk over here and I'll show you a different type of damage that you can keep your eye out for. And it's a different type of beetle. So the Ips beetles are much smaller and they hit the very tops of the tree or small branches. So this tree that's over here in the distance, you can see how we just have a couple brown flagging branches. We call them flagging because they're sort of waving hello at you. They're a different color than the rest of the canopy. Those branches right there were caused by, they were killed by Ips beetles.